Dust 2 was very much Oscar's playground up until halftime when he just seemed to run out of steam. And then it was all the way of Orbit, who came back from an 8-1 deficit to take it 16-10 in the end. As we move across the cash, some fantastic performances from Bubble in particular. Stico was also very solid, but it is 1-0 to Orbit.
Yeah, I think Bubble was critical. Integral came through when they needed it, put together the amount of T rounds that apparently that's all they needed, right? Like they're able to come back from a deficit on the CT side or on the T side and then turn it into a win. What was it? 16 what? 11? 16-10. Unbelievable.
I believe so.
That's a brand new Orbit, man. We don't see that very often, and we don't expect HellRaisers to even perform that badly on T side. There were a couple of rounds you could point out that you could say, all right, that's the reason that they lost. You know, those are just a couple of bad decisions that they made. You know, apart from just missing shots, which is sometimes a little bit more forgivable. You know, something you wouldn't expect them to do in the next round. Making bad decisions as a team is like, oh man, who's being absent-minded right now? Like, who's calling the strats? Like. And ultimately, who's giving bad input? And I think that's what it came down to a little bit. The lack of clarity, and ultimately, you know, missing the fundamentals, right? Like, you have a 5v3 and you have 50 seconds left. Don't rush it. You know, take some time, scout out some information, use your grenades, and identify like where the op is and avoid it. I mean, they failed to do that a couple of times, and it cost them rounds, and ultimately, I think, cost them the half. So.
I completely agree. I can't really add anything to that. I just say on Cash, I hope someone else is there. I hope Oscar doesn't have to do it all alone again, because Cash, I don't think he's going to have as much free reign as he did on Dust 2. It's not quite as forgiving as Dust 2 is for Oscar. He's very quick up, a very good reaction speed, but on Cash, you're very susceptible to being smoked out and then just push through the smoke, and that could cost him and also his team. And let's also contextualize this, Launders. Winner of this game goes through to the offline qualifiers and loses out the tournament. The HellRaisers, if they want any chance at getting through to the next major, they have to win this game.
Yeah, that's a sad reality that they have to face. Again, these are the HellRaisers are the reigning champions, I guess you could say, of the EU minor, right?
Yep.
So they've got more than just the win on the line here. And there it is.
Oscar 33 kills, nearest player Stico 16. That is.
Yeah, that looks like a middle finger.
That's probably what Oscar's doing to the rest of his team at this point.
Exactly.
That actually really does look like a middle finger. I can't unsee that now. Thanks, Launders.
Just put it beside the HellRaiser's face and it's like perfect.
Just Oscar's face, and then, yeah. Anyway, so you can see he was double the frags of his nearest teammate, Ostico, whereas Bubble had solid fragging, but he did have support behind him as well. It wasn't just the Bubble show, especially on T side. It was the whole team that were chiming together. So through to Cash. Let's just talk about Cash a little bit, what you're expecting. We all thought HellRaisers would take this series. We had differences in opinions, a couple 2-0s thrown out there. I thought it'd be 2-1. Do you think HellRaisers have a realistic hope of taking Cash today?
The thing is that, like, looking at HellRaisers versus Orbit, I'm like, HellRaisers win. You know, you can put them in different environments, but HellRaisers will still shine through the interference, come out ahead. But today, it's not looking like that. It's not looking like that they're the better team in general. And now they're moving into Orbit's map pick, right? So a map that they feel very comfortable with. They already have a win versus them yesterday. So in terms of like the mental game, I think HellRaisers or Orbit are a little bit ahead. And also, if any doubts they had about yesterday, and if it was, you know, a fluke, excuse me, or if like our individual showed up in a way they never have before, maybe we won't see that tomorrow. Any of the doubts they had pertaining to that, I think are probably gone now, because on Dust 2, everybody showed up in a big way.
Yep, so it looks like we are just getting into the knife round, so it'll be a little while longer before we get into the thick of the action. So who are the key players here that you need to be watching out for HellRaisers if they want to step things up? Obviously Oscar, but behind Oscar.
Yeah, so you know, like Stico, as you mentioned, didn't play so well, and he should be playing a lot better. Now, Zero, I thought, played extremely well on the CT side, obviously quiet on T side, and overall, everybody just played worse than they should have. But if it's going to be like Zero, if he's going to be on the opposite side of the map of Oscar, to on CT side solidify a lot of those rounds where his teammates might die in the middle or one of his supporting teammates might die as they're rotating, or die in the site before him. He's got to stay alive, and he's got to get 2 kills like he was doing on Dust 2, right? That's why they came away with the really great half that they did in the first CT side on Dust 2, and I think that's the same thing that's going to carry over into Cash.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think for Orbit as well, you're looking at Bubble to step up, but Victor is very, very potent on Cash. He's the guy that you're going to look to actually have very aggressive pushes as well. They are an aggressive CT side alongside, of course, being T side. This map has started to shift towards more of the T side of things. Before it was classically like an 8-7, 9-6 halftime score for CTs, but now we're seeing maybe the reverse being said for the terrorists. I think that could also play into the hands of Orbit as well, actually, because they are a very potent T-sided team.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that you can do on T side now to open up middle, and middle was one of the main areas where if you won that as a CT or you had a really good setup, you win every round, right? The rotations at mid are so important, right? You can get, if you go there as a T side as Ts and you get 2 kills right off the bat, then you win the round immediately, right? And if you don't, you get destroyed. But it was kind of easy with the ability to boost so quickly to get over mid, and then people started mollying the boost, giving people a lot of trouble up there. But now there's like a smoke that you can do that lands on the stairs inside A main that'll negate a molly. So there's a lot of ways for T's to open up the round and then make it a lot easier for them to take middle, which is really key for them on Cash.
Here we go. Here's the aggression that I was talking about before in the pistol round from Bubble, looking for that one tap. How is he still alive for that long? There were so many bullets, so many Glocks aimed his way. Now it's up to Punisher. He's in the tight corner just below Vents, and, well, he's going to find the same fate. This is so important for HellRaisers to start off in winning ways, but Victor may have something to say about this one. 2 frags come down, and he's able to actually pull himself out of heaven for the reload. Goes back in for seconds, and he's going to get himself a 3rd kill. He gets dinked in the process, though, so he's down to 7. The play down to his right-hand side of Angel is very low. Doesn't matter. Finger on the pulse. And will be silencing Orbit in the pistol. Well played from HellRaisers. A little bit too close for comfort, though, with Victor.
You had to hold your breath for that one, right?
Yeah.
Because you're seeing, wow, he's got a headshot angle on the guy in B main. If he gets that 1 kill, then the guy beside him or to his right has like 10 HP, and then they're on even footing. And, it's Victor, the guy who just got 4 kills. He'll probably land a bullet or 2. And, lucky for HellRaisers that they managed to scrape their way out of that. But ultimately, they got the 2 kills right away. They got the 3rd one to follow. They had the sight to themselves. They really shouldn't have come close to losing it. And so I feel comfortable knowing that they won that round, kind of based on the merit of them having those early kills.
Angel already down to 39 health. He is only with the Tech 9. Mac 10 for Bondic. Interesting enough, just the 1 SMG in play for HellRaisers. You typically see 2 or 3, depending on the team. 3 AKs as well, so it's a heavy investment. And if Orbit do get a couple kills and get their hands on one of those AK-47s, things could go horribly, horribly wrong for HellRaisers. So this is another hold your breath moment for any HellRaisers fans watching right now.
Yeah, I think it's just that, though. They know that Orbit are going to force up, so they're like, yeah, we got to spend a little money because we don't want to blow this round. And here we do have them all just grouped up, ready to trade. Not going to scale for info here. They know Orbit have spent money, and they know that it could get really scary if they get thinned out.
Yeah, checking every single corner. So far, haven't looked into Vent. No one's home just yet. For Orbit, they do have themselves Bubble, who's just outside lurking on the outskirts. Spy leader with enough smoke to choke on, so he's just going to hold location for now. Orbit will be looking to start to wrap themselves around like a boa constrictor. They're going to try and take the oxygen out the lungs of HellRaisers, who have only a flashbang to play with on the site, but it may not be required. The Mac 10, the Tech 9s, the AKs, everything coming good. Actually, you saw a lot of damage put down from Bondic, I think that was, onto Angel. He gets finished off for now. Bubble, realizing that his days are numbered, will be saving his CZ instead. So very nice round overall from HellRaisers.
They managed to secure it. They picked the site that was completely empty, actually, so they 5-manned the correct moment. They basically went they did the exact same thing they did on the pistol, and they used that as their anti-eco. Turned out to work pretty well. And Angel, the only player who died, actually only had Tech 9. So they lose no AKs here. Bondic has nothing to pick up, unfortunately, but that's not such a big loss.
Yeah, just a Tech 9, as you say. So easily replenished with the UMP instead. Very strong weapon in these kind of scenarios. Mac 10, of course, Bondic's not going to get rid of that. He knows that the bulk of the Orbit side has no armor whatsoever, so we'll be chunking through players. And it's going to be a pretty heavy stack with Bubble, the only Kevlar and CZ over on B, all by his lonesome. HellRaisers, again, though, respecting Orbit. The other kind of team as well, it's not out of the realms of possibility that they force again in this round. Like, they are that crazy at times.
Yeah, they are.
So that's the thing that keeps you on your tiptoes from HellRaisers' perspective here. A charge coming through onto team side of A main, but it's Oscar and Stiko that will repel the push and push it back. Bubble's dead on the other side of the map. And now there's options for HellRaisers.
It's a really good angle from Zero. You push yourself up against the wall, and what that looks like from the other side is you got half of your hitboxes are just unhittable. And for Zero, he's got a great spot where he can just hold an angle. And there's just the cleanup in A main. HellRaisers lose no members this round either, so they come away with these 2 anti-ecos looking rich. They are absolutely minted, as Pala would say. At the moment, we've got Stiko, who has just about 8K, and everyone else around 6.
Look on Pala's
Absolutely minted Pala.
face. He's done.
Disgusted with me.
No head armor on the side of Orbit, sacrificing for more grenades, and this is where the UMP and MAC-10 can be such a pain in the backside. Boosting up onto red container is Angel, just on the off chance that Orbit tried the aggressive push. They didn't. They do have quite a lot of mid control though. It's always interesting to see how different CT sides approach Cash. A lot of teams will just straight up give up mid altogether and start to stack on sites, but seems Orbit more aggressive in their mid control.
Yeah, so there's a couple of standard things that always happen. It's the decision whether or not the CTs want to play mid at all, and if that doesn't happen, then you either have a squeaky push or a B push, because you know that all the Ts are focusing their attention in middle, so you can isolate someone on the other part of the map. You can do that consistently if you have the proper read. And then the other thing is that on T side, people always send someone squeaky whether or not they take mid. And that's because you can get so close to the site, do a lot of damage, get info, keep the CTs there here if they rotate, and whoa, here's a spray down. A lot of damage done already. NKL put an awkward spot and actually gets taken out without getting a kill.
Pretty much had to burst out there. He knew that Molotov was landing by him, so he's the dead man. Either way, Spy Leader with 2 kills will finish off what NKL started. Looking for a third. They actually stacked up for him. But Stico too fast on the trigger. 3 on 3. Bomb planted. A Molotov in the hands of Zero. Smoke for Oscar, which has just been thrown. And we're trying to block off the truck side. Grenade banks off the wall. Does significant damage to Oscar. You know, he's in a bit of a sticky situation, but he comes out all guns blazing. Did a lot of damage as well to Punisher. Victor, you feel, is probably going to have to be the man to wrap this round up for Orbit if they want to get themselves on the board. Finally, oh, what is that spray from Zero? He's gone down. Oh, okay then. Punisher was already low, by the way. That just makes it even more awkward.
I just have no idea how he didn't get 1 bullet in there. I'm not even going to put that on Zero. I feel like he should have just, like, another day that bullet would have hit. But
I'd love to see that replay.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I mean, part of it was he's moving, but he knows he just has to hit like 1 bullet and can't do it. Orbit win the round off the retake after Oscar took that risk of taking the 2nd kill, right? He has forklift, which is a great position to stop people from being able to encroach on the site. When you retake, you always like to go out to forklift first. You have line of sight of quad. That's how we saw the 2nd kill come out. But if Oscar stays alive, then maybe they delay long enough that the time doesn't go down. And there's that smoke that denies the molly on top of boost.
And they are going to boost behind this as well. With the AWP in the hands of Oscar. Zero, who'd already dropped down from boost. Will pick kill up. Keeps 13 health going through into round 5. Incendiary's going to be thrown out from bubble. That could stop this initial vent charge. This buys him a little bit of time on the B site, which is just where Punisher is sat by himself. And this is the issue on Cash as well from a CT's perspective. You lose that first kill, you have to spread yourself so thin. And in doing so, the terrorists should be able to capitalize on that. If they don't check this corner, though, Punisher could be in for a hatful of frags. There's the first one. He has to come out, though. He's expecting maybe a molly or a flashbang to come on through, but he's got 2 kills and he's still alive. That Molotov will likely not spread to him, but it's not required. Oscar lands the AWP shot, but Punisher's 2 kills could make all the difference. Oscar and Zero are so close to death. Molotov lands on the site. Meanwhile, Spy Leader lands the headshot onto Stico. Bubbles playing. It's very smart indeed. Just going to be biding his time, waiting for the rest of his team to wrap themselves onto the site. He knows the bomb's out in no man's land. Oscar's the next to fall, leaving Zero's 13 health. Gets the drop on the first player, Spy Leader, but now his position is known. And surely Orbit will get their 2nd round in a row.
Yeah, Zero's got a tough spot. He's got to make noise to come out of heaven. If he comes back, he's dead. He's got no HP. There's almost no play he can make, and there's no CT in a position to make a mistake at this moment. So he's even got to have trouble saving at this moment. I don't know if they know Zero is very hurt right now, but somebody has that info of whether or not they share it.
He has a smoke and a flashbang if he wants to try something cheeky and try and save in that, but that will also, of course, give his position away. And especially in this position, he's just going to spam through the smoke anyway. He needs this shot, lands it onto bubble. Nicely done.
Very important. And we see that this is going to allow him to drop.
Yep. I'll get a buy out of this.
Yep. And this
Punisher's play.
Yeah.
This is the moment. If he dies without getting any kills, the B aggression is in. Because you can see here, they're wrapping themselves around the CT spawns. The Punisher bought so much time.
It was really great of Angel to check, but his team, like, they just needed to double peek him. He has no angle there, you know? He's completely screwed if they decide to wide peek him, and maybe he gets 1 kill, but he doesn't get 2 kills and then stay alive. And, you know, that was just HellRaisers. I mean, being scared or you know, not being explosive, which is what they're all about.
Yeah, that is where you feel HellRaisers at their strongest point, when they're being explosive, when they're getting up in the face of their opposition. So Orbit's unorthodox style Strange decision-making at times. Definitely keeping him at bay, at arm's length. Stiko, as you highlighted before, Squeaky, such a good position for the terrorists just to play some mind games. Just to try and throw off the CTs a little bit. Molly's going to bounce off quad, and it will actually secure the kill. Angel got dinked before that, or dinked NKL, I should say, before that to secure it. Angel now looking for a second one. He's going to get the spray down. Actually doesn't land it, and Bubble survives. I think he was switching weapons in midair. Very nearly got caught out as a result. Stiko's in the smoke. 2 players low. As Stiko gets the spray down. 3 on 3 now. 0 with the spray control. Not quite on point enough to get the kill. 45 seconds left. Going to smoke off connectors to make sure no one comes up round the back. There's the next kill. It's going to be Oscar. It looked like Zero was on to take it down. Stiko's taking damage in the Molotov. Don't pull off a summit. And then Zero picks up the last kill. HellRaisers take the 4-2 lead. Very good take. Orbit's economy is completely busted.
Yeah. I was kind of worried, right? HellRaisers, we had one person cross the site, get taken down for free without a trade, and then they had 3 people posted up, Oscar and A main. Everyone's a little bit far back. No one's able to trade, right? They're really relying on one guy to just open up the round so that the rest of them feel comfortable moving in. When in reality, what you need is for everybody to come through, risk the 1-to-1, and then get the site so you can get the bomb down. And Orbit ended up taking a lot of damage. HellRaisers found opportunities to do damage, and that's the reason they were able to do it. But I don't think they get away with that every single time. It didn't look like the strongest A take to me.
Could have easily been repelled from Orbit, you have to feel, if just a couple things had gone slightly differently. The force up from Orbit, who would have guessed? Although in fairness, I think they'd have had to double eco anyway, so this is a force that you do see from time to time. Oh, look at that cheeky position from Victor. I remember the first time I saw this, I think it was nothing. Remember when the Zeuses were all in and everyone was picking them up?
Yeah.
Remember him dropping down and Zeusing someone in the back. Those are the days. It's not good for a kill either. They check the position. I guess it's in a straight line to just below vent as well.
Yeah, that's why. It's like you clear a different angle, but then you barely have to look anywhere differently just to clear that. So even though it is an off angle, it doesn't really work out that well.
I think it's more for a player pushing through the mid garage instead of up on boost.
Yeah.
You can get the drop on them quite literally. NKL and Punisher. A nice slick shot from NKL, but he's only good for the 1 kill. 30 seconds left. Last player is on quad. That's going to be called out now, and then instantly the bomb will be maneuvering itself, transitioning onto B site for the plant. In fact, it's not even required. Stiko's there. HellRaisers. We have seen this before. We saw their Dust 2 performance start off very well and then grind to a horrendous halt.
And that's why we're kind of hesitant, right?
I'm not going to take anything for granted here.
Yeah.
Like HellRaisers started well, Orbit are onto an eco. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, and again, it is Orbit on CT side. They do have a plan here for cash. That's the only reason they would have picked it, but it's way too early to call it. That's for sure. And HellRaisers still have a lot to prove. Also, we haven't seen like amazing rounds from them yet, even though they have been able to win. Mid control was really good, but we saw a little bit of a bad decision there from Orbit when they decided to play Victor there by himself to get that opening kill. Or he peeked out Z versus 3 people coming over boost and just got traded out. No, didn't even get a frag himself. And it's like the 5v5 is so much better. If you decide not to play mid, you kind of have to commit to that decision. I mean, you can retake it late, but to do it dry and by yourself is usually not a good idea. So I'm not sure that decision reflected well on Orbit.
P250 and flashbang. Stiko again seems to be a squeaky player. Trying to be a pain in the rear end for Orbit. It's going to be tapping out. The smoke, in the meanwhile, does give the CTs a chance to actually hide in here. And you can see a very heavy stack from Orbit onto the A side. Spraying through Stiko. He's going to get 2 through the smoke. Nicely done. He's going to be good for another couple kills. You've got to feel Angel comes through and we'll take the ace away from him. But HellRaisers don't care.
Yeah.
Got a 6-2 lead.
Yeah, and again, that was the round after they decided to armor up. So this looks really good. Now we have Orbit, who has just 2 rounds now, are deciding to buy up. And here's the replay of Stiko getting these couple of frags right now. 4K in total. Feels really good to be the eco Cobra of the round. The 400 ADR and all the economy.
Pad and no stats.
Yeah.
It's all about the pad. Bondic up on boost, and well, considering this was Orbit's choice of map, you'd expect them to have a pretty solid CT side, but they just seem kind of caught in 2 minds, just going out 1 by 1. This time, 1 player in mid, everyone else vacating the area. HellRaisers with the easiest start to a round they could really ask for.
Yeah, you know, this is like mid is like where you're allowed to become the hollow point, right? You can just bust out there and kill everyone at mid, and then just spread through the map like a virus, right? And nobody has info on where you're going to go, and you can pick A or B in a matter of moments, right? You can fall back to A main, you can fall back to B main, and have a split without the CTs having any idea of what to do. And because they were already down a man, it makes those site holds even more difficult. So another reason why mid is so strong, and why HellRaisers are able to take advantage of it. Orbit not doing so well here.
As you say, yeah, spreading like a virus. Doesn't seem like Orbit have the vaccination just yet. They are struggling. They are really not getting anything done. Again, though, we did say that T-side becoming more and more favored on cash. So if Orbit can get themselves 6 or 7 rounds, they're still golden, I would say.
Well, the thing is, Vince, right? They could get the 6 or 7 rounds, but they have to show us that they're able to do it. You know, that they have to show us that they have a plan that maybe doesn't work out one time, but is a good plan. And so far, we haven't seen that good plan yet, right? We see them just fall flat on their face at mid or give up that open kill way too early. So they've got to make some changes to either stay alive a little bit longer or have a better way to control mid in the first place.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's all well and good saying, like, if they can get 6 or 7 rounds, but can they?
Can they?
Yeah. Is it likely? From this performance so far, I would say it's a resounding no. They're looking toothless, they're looking fangless like we saw in Dust 2. The only thing that's giving me a bit of hope for Orbit is that they turned that round.
Yeah.
I think that was more down to the fact that HellRaisers just pushed the self-destruct button. They just weren't 100% focused. I'm not entirely sure what was going on for them. But this time it's not Oscar who's leading the charge, it's Stiko. He's 11 for 2, 11 for 3, around there. And that's going to definitely bode well for HellRaisers. Again, if they can get a couple players performing, they are a force to be reckoned with. Boost in from Orbit with the Deagle and then Kale's hands. HellRaisers will not be pushing A main just yet, although a couple players locating around the area. I think it's Angel and Oscar appearing through, hoping that Orbit push themselves into A main for more free frags.
This is kind of like what Orbit do to HellRaisers, where they take their time, they wait for a mistake to be made, and then they realize we have a full, 50, 40 seconds to hit a site together when we so choose. And it gets scarier later into the round when you're on the eco and you force up if you take really aggressive positions, because those start to become like more, you know, that they're about to be meticulously cleared, right? And here we have HellRaisers slowing down and starting to push up. This is the anti-eco that they like to do. A couple of good Molotovs coming out in sequence, which is really nice to see. And one player in B, that's Punisher to get a kill for himself, so nice from him.
It's a good trade-off, all things considered, for Orbit, especially if Bubble could connect some one-taps. Not today, says Oscar, as he puts down Bubble with the AWP. Second kill comes in for Oscar, just looking through. Oh, third as well from Victor. Beautiful AWPing from Oscar, setting this round alight. Overkill, you'd probably say, because his team were likely going to clean it up anyway, but you love to see that sort of AWPing. And now NKL, all he has to do is just wait, delaying the inevitable. This round is going to go to HellRaisers, 8-2 in the lead. Nah, Oscar, if he landed that, I was out of fear.
Super aware Oscar. Oh my gosh.
Me, Oscar.
He feels it.
I guess it makes sense though. Like if you are on the CT's side here and you're trying to come in for a potential retake and everything goes horribly wrong, that's the kind of position that you're going to be waiting in afterwards. So you can see his thought process. He still gets the kill and manages to survive as well. Why the hell not with 6 health?
Yeah, exactly.
So it just seems like he's
just got to meet his quota one way or another, you know. Look at this.
Shot.
Oh my gosh.
Get wrecked.
Just knows the angle, like just knows it. And trust that he knows it. The thing is, a lot of people actually know the angle, but they don't trust that they know it, right? Yep. And he just goes right into that shot, like before a tracer even comes out to him. Here's that molly on boost. It's going to be too useful. Actually misses, so the thing is, HellRaisers is setting up for smokes at A already, and if we see the CTs are basically bottom heavy right now. 3 players towards the B site, a couple of rotates coming out now. I think some noise has been made, and that might not actually benefit them.
The flash is wrecking both teams there, but the bomb's been dropped on Forklift. The good news for HellRaisers, the smoke will screen their way across. The bad news is that Victor is on point with his M4 spray. So maybe this is the moment for Orbit to get something else out of Cash. Spy Leader holding down the fort on the quad, I should say. But he's about to get a bit too hot in there. Oh my goodness, Oscar. Oh, he very nearly gets the second. He's surely not going to miss on the second time of asking. Oh. No, he doesn't. HellRaisers take away a round that looked a dead certainty to Orbit. And the well, the punishment continues. And look at that money as well for HellRaisers. Got a couple players. Start of this round, we're on 16K.
Wow, unreal. Man, as a Spectre, you just trust him to get that frag every single time. He's reading the sequence perfectly, and yeah, they get out there and basically rely on hitting their shots. And HellRaisers can hit their shots. You know, they did take their time. They got into kind of after plant spots before the bomb was planted, and the bomb landed in a precarious spot. As you mentioned, it was dropped at forklift. That's not a good spot for it to be in, but they made the most of the situation and were able to just win those duels versus Orbit.
Orbit still somewhat stunned after the previous round. Find themselves just a flashbang in their hands with 1 minute and 30 on the timer. That's a lot of time to kill. HellRaisers still 5 Molotovs, 4 smokes, and a cheeky AK headshot from Stiko partially through the wall. That pretty much sums up Orbit's performance so far in Cash. They've just got nothing out of this. Carpet fire landing on quad. That's going to force out NKL towards the CT side of A, and that's just going to be right into the embracing arms of Angel, who can't get the second kill down, but it's Victor with 2. Beautiful play from Victor. Finally, we've got something to actually be hype about for Orbit. Finally, maybe they're going to start to wake up. But still, it's that man Oscar who's alive, and with Victor being so low and no way of actually flashing or smoking his way out, he's basically stuck there. So it's the waiting game. It's the patience game now. Is he going to start to push after hearing this bomb going down? You can see that he's itching to just get in, but he's waiting for his teammates. He's waiting for the reinforcements. Oscar, 2 kills for him. Punisher on the truck. This is going to get called to Oscar, who's looking for a third, but no, Punisher lands the frag. You can see he has no idea where Zero is, however. But just with 11 health now, he sees where the bomb's planted, so it stands to good reason that Zero would be in A main, and he should get the drop. But no, he actually misses the shot, and this is vital time. He has no defuse kit. He has to come and get this kill right now, but Zero lands the headshot onto him. With 11 health, he makes it work, and HellRaisers dodge yet more bullets.
Age is just a number. Age is just a number. Zero's a beast. Very low HP. Wins that 1v1.
How many times are Orbit going to have massive chances and just squander them?
Yeah, it's like man advantage late into the round. Actually there, you know, it's a round where HellRaisers start off fantastically. We get Stiko gets that kill out of Squeaky, and then they follow up with like a great execute. They push NKL out of quad. They tag him with the op as he crosses. They do a lot of damage to the highway. They know it's an A take, and so they should win. And then Orbit bring it back, but then they just throw their advantage away one more time. Put themselves in a bad spot right now economically, and are forced to make aggression for good reason, but it becomes obvious, right? It becomes, oh, wow. Angel even capitalizing on that kill. And it's just like nail after nail at this point.
Now, next map is Mirage. I know I'm looking a bit too far into the future. This map still has a bit of life left in it, you have to assume. But Mirage, you'd fancy HellRaisers there.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is a must-win map for Orbit. In my opinion, at least. Of course, already leading 1-0. I think it had to be a 2-0. It's going to be a 2-1 to HellRaisers. Okay. That just happened.
They talk about my one tips.
They talk about my one taps. Scream needs to make another one for his spray control. I said this yesterday. He was on fire. Bubble, last player, FAMAS. The ugliest skin in the game. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. That neural net is disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's like it's like a strung out construction worker gun. Just no money. It's getting no contract work.
If you happen to use that skin, why?
Why? Just use the default.
I would honestly rather use the default, yeah.
Or just kill yourself.
Wow. Okay. That escalated quickly. I wouldn't go that far, mate. He's got 2 flashes to try and to keep this beautiful weapon, beautiful skin in his hands. It looks like he will, but just drop in the ocean. You know, it's all well and good saving a weapon, but you're still 9 rounds behind. And the rest of your team likely will go for a force knowing Orbit. There we go. It's FAMAS and UMP.
Yeah, that's the thing is that they decided to buy last round, and they had the same kind of buy, right? So that means they could have saved there and had like a full buy this one. Instead, with a total of 4 rounds left in the half, they decided to have a kind of low buy because they needed to put rounds on the board. So, you know, from that perspective, you can kind of see why they did it, right? They just got, bottom line is 10-5 half is like what they want. They don't want any less than that, but it makes it harder to win even these rounds when they've made the decisions already.
Already quickly evaporated through their grenades. Have Orbit just to stop the initial push, but really it's done nothing. Mid control's still been gained from HellRaisers, although Punisher with a nice push through Squeaky, something we haven't really seen Orbit do so far in this match. So fair play to him for mixing things up, and he reaps the rewards. He's not able to get his hands on the AK because instantly afterwards the terrorists were appearing up there. He didn't want to give his life away for free. That being said now, though, HellRaisers, they can smell the blood in the water over on the B site, which is Bubble with his save for Mass. The beautiful for Mass. And I think justice was done. He's not going to get any kills with the weapon, but Punisher comes in with 2 of his own. And now NKL from the top, very nearly transfers his spray. That was nearly majestic stuff from him, but instead, he's going to bite the dust, as well as teammate Orbit have picked up a 3rd.
So they do make it happen. You know, they didn't get the 10-5 they wanted. They probably felt very defeated when they lost that previous round where they had the broken bike because they know they have to move into the next one with another one, and they make the most of it. That was a crazy spray transfer with the Falmouth.
Yeah.
What a weird angle to actually bring it up to, and almost coming with the frag, but Orbit do put it together. Now Bubble has the op. That's something that we haven't been able to see him put to good use, and that was really integral for him on Dust 2 as well. So it's good to see him kind of more in his comfort zone.
So all comes down to this for Orbit. If they can win this round in the pistol, maybe game's back on. That's a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts. And of course, that goes back to the point you raised before. Well, it's all well and good playing the hypothetical game, but what have they shown us to this point to believe in them?
Yeah.
Not a great deal. And Stiko has been consistently just an animal out of Squeaky, landing headshots all over the place.
It says a lot about the player you put in Squeaky too, because you know this is the player this is where you put Shroud, right? This is where you put like your toughest aimer, just like someone who can work something individually. You have a lot of trust in them that they're going to tell you exactly what they know and that they're going to make a useful play out of their position. So Squeaky's great because you can do it in a default. You can open up the round. You can send someone there by themselves. There's almost no need to try to get someone to trade. They have so much cover to themselves, and they can just spam out and just listen. And he's showing us why it's so good.
Oh, did Oscar just get a 2-for-1, including Angel? I think he did. We've already seen one on Dust 2, but that's not quite what the Doctor ordered. Meanwhile, Stiko is going to make the most of this one, and Punisher has the very difficult chance to clutch this round if he can take down 3 players by himself. We've already seen he's got some pretty sweet aim on him, but it's not good enough. 12-3. And HellRaisers, where were you on Dust 2, boys?
Yeah.
Where was this performance on Dust 2?
The thing was that they actually had a pretty solid Dust 2 like first half. It wasn't quite as dominant as this. Everything just seems to be clicking. It's hard to say whether or not, you know, it's Orbit failing more or HellRaisers getting away with a lot of stuff. I could have said for sure there was like rounds. We both noticed, right? There was rounds on A that Orbit should have probably won in the after plan, or in the retake that came closer than it should have, or, you know, the fact that they were giving up their kill so early at mid when they really didn't have a good reason to or good excuse for. So there was definitely decisions where it seemed like when they had, you know, the full ability to make that decision, to make a different decision, they didn't. And so kind of like how HellRaisers in the second half of last map were making palpable decisions, bad decisions. We kind of see that from Orbit now. So I wonder what that means moving in the second half, though, right? Do we have 2 different teams swapping places? Is it the map affecting them or what? Because this is the opposite team's map pick that we're probably going to see the other team win on, which is really weird, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, even if HellRaisers do take their foot off the accelerator, they've got such a massive lead that surely they don't lose a 9-round lead.
Yeah.
That would be a Herculean throw. I mean, that would be, you know, almost unheard of in terms of HellRaisers. They are not the kind of team that let those sort of leads slip away. Stiko, though, with the first kill, 4 flashes. Also for HellRaisers, so heavy investment towards the utility. Spy Leader, though, has actually managed to get himself all the way around the back. A couple players. There's Angel. Spy Leader, in the meanwhile, takes down Oscar, and Angel gets the 2nd kill. So HellRaisers already on the brink of picking up cash. A must-needed round for Orbit going right. Pop flash in, doesn't connect on anyone, but Angel's USP is there once again. But so is Punisher. Finally, he goes down. HellRaisers 10-round lead.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that HellRaisers are great at is pistols, and we see that now. After, I don't know if they won the second. They actually won both pistols on Dust 2 as well, and then they win both pistols here, so that's 4 in a row. I mean, they actually ended up losing Dust 2, which speaks wonders for Orbit. The fact that they were able to win so many rifle rounds to complement the fact that they lost that many pistols. But
even more brutal, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
We win all 2 pistols, pardon me, on Dust 2, and then still get wrecked 16-10.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
So Orbit with the force to try and salvage something out of this round. Heavy SMG investment, UMPs. P90. Angel's going to get the drops on at least one player. Will transfer to Spy Leader. Great start from HellRaisers once again. Oscar, in the meanwhile, from just below Vent, is going to put down the hammer with his UMP. Switches to the 5-7 bomb's been dropped. And NKL's Tech 9. Mission impossible. Yep. Oscar's going to get the kill. And Orbit now will have half a mind towards Mirage.
Yeah, you know, at a certain point, I wonder, do you start thinking about the next map? Like, you don't want to, but if you put so much of your kind of, I don't know, you put so much stake in a map where you have to make a giant comeback, mentally it can be so defeating to like put all that effort into it and then come out, you know, get 7 rounds and then lose, when you could maybe check out early, right? And then think about map 3 where you could just come in with a fresh start. And I feel like at a certain point you do want to hedge your bets, but we'll try to give it a fighting chance since they're still here to play.
Well, that's the thing, though. CS is so based around the mental aspect of the game.
Yeah.
That sometimes just tapping out of a map and saying, okay, look, we've got wrecked. Let's just accept it. Maybe look towards Mirage, start to chill out a little bit more. You know, just have a bit of fun with this. That could be a very real thing for Orbit. Of course, they're going to want to get as many rounds as possible and get some pride back in on their cash performance, because if they go 16-3 down, I mean, that is a complete landslide victory to HellRaisers.
Yeah.
There's no mistake in that, but Oscar, again, is going to come in for the first frag. NKL's down to 6. Bondic on quad with his P90 can spray down onto the very wounded NKL. Oscar's gone look-sees, but actually Bobble gets 2 kills from Vents, and now Victor on the site, who's got the bomb planted, could actually get this kill if he had. Maybe the miracle was a reality, but instead HellRaisers take the 15-3 lead, and that's going to be 12 map points.
Yeah, that was quite close. Blessing in disguise, maybe. I mean, as we just talked about, Orbit would have had a mountain to climb and a half to get back into this. But, you know, crazier comebacks have happened, and that's the beauty of CS, right? The game isn't over until it's over, and that's the bottom line, because every round you get a reset, and the only thing that follows you is your money, which doesn't actually mean, or doesn't dictate whether or not you'll win. But here's Stico to try to kind of put the nail in the coffin, is going to be picking up an auto. No shame in his game.
Definitely not. An auto, if positioned correctly, is still extremely potent.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be trying to hold the angle on A main, but also get himself onto Squeaky Door. You guys can't see this, but Pallet's like falling asleep on his chair. What we can see on our preview screen is glorious. Absolutely glorious. Anyway, that's how great this map of CS has been, that we're getting sidetracked.
I'll tweet it.
He's going to tweet. Okay, sweet. So HellRaisers, can they put the hammer down? Maybe Mercy killing Orbit off. Not prolonging the agony anymore. Orbit setting up for an A plate. They have 1 smoke, 1 Molotov, couple flashbangs to try and execute onto the site with. The Squeaky Door has been opened, and Stico is now going to be looking for that auto sniper to just ring out and pick up frags aplenty. But Orbit, in fairness to them, they're playing this one very patiently. They haven't quite pulled the trigger just yet. They've used their Molotov. But I haven't got anything back from this. Meanwhile, Bubble's actually on the B site, so he's trying to sell this fake. But as soon as they realize that no one else is coming in, they're just going to be backing off. Victor gets the team frag onto Spy Leader, and now it's all on NKL, comes out into the open, and will be put down alongside Orbit, who have just been completely battered.
Just laughing about how easy that was for HellRaisers.
Definitely not because Pallet's falling asleep.
That will win. Let's just throw him on the screen for a second, please.
What do you even say about that?
What do you say? I mean, 2 pistols, all the rifle rounds won that were super important. Mid control taken, A hits that went the way of HellRaisers, even with a man disadvantage. Tons of bomb plants. Great individual performances. Stico working squeaky to the best of his ability, opening up the round countless times. And now we have both maps going the way of the team who didn't pick it. So that's some EUCS for you, I guess.
Honestly thought as soon as HellRaisers lost us too, that was it. I thought we were done and dusted. We're going to have the HellRaisers bowing out the tournament, not getting towards the major. Couldn't have been more wrong. Now we move to Mirage, which we both feel HellRaisers will be firm favorites to pick up.
Yeah.
So that could be it here for Orbit, unless they step things up massively. But we're going to find out if Orbit can step back up to the plate, or if they're going to just subside away slowly with a whimper right after this short commercial break.